What if I told you that the most powerful medicine for healing your body, fighting disease, and even reversing aging isn't found in a prescription bottle or a high-tech clinic, but is already flowing through your veins right now, and you have the ability to dramatically amplify its power starting with your very next meal? This isn't science fiction. This is the groundbreaking reality of your body's own stem cells, and for decades, we in the medical community believed that their numbers were fixed and their decline was an inevitable part of aging. But a tidal wave of new research has completely overturned that fatalistic view, revealing that we have an extraordinary degree of control over these master cells that act as your body's internal repair system, and the key to unlocking their potential lies not in a complex medical procedure, but in harnessing the power of specific foods and everyday lifestyle choices that can trigger a process called stem cell mobilization, where these incredible cells are released from your bone marrow into your bloodstream, homing in on areas of damage and inflammation to rebuild and rejuvenate your tissues from the inside out. Imagine your stem cells as a vast army of construction workers waiting in their barracks. Your bone marrow. For the signal to deploy, and for most people, that signal never comes, or it comes too weakly to make a real difference, leaving the workers idle while the body's infrastructure slowly deteriorates. But what we've discovered is that certain bioactive compounds in specific foods act as that powerful signal, a clarion call that sends these regenerative troops marching out into circulation, ready to patch up damaged blood vessels, repair injured muscles, rejuvenate your skin, and even heal your nervous system. This isn't just theoretical. We've seen it in clinical studies where participants who consumed these specific foods showed a massive spike, sometimes a doubling or even tripling, in the number of circulating stem cells in their bloodstream within just hours, and this single act, repeated over time, can fundamentally alter the trajectory of your health, slowing down the aging process and building a formidable defense against chronic illness. And here is the most thrilling part of this discovery, the part that connects directly to the title of this video. The very same process that supercharges your stem cell regeneration is also the most effective, scientifically proven method to burn stubborn fat, particularly the dangerous visceral fat that wraps around your organs, secreting inflammatory chemicals that drive insulin resistance, heart disease, and cancer. This is not a coincidence, it's a profound biological synergy. When you activate your stem cells, you are essentially upgrading your body's metabolic engine, improving the health and efficiency of your mitochondria. Those are the power plants in your cells, which in turn increases your basal metabolic rate, meaning you burn more calories even at rest. Furthermore, the process of burning fat, especially through the mechanisms we'll discuss, creates a healthier, less inflammatory internal environment, which is the perfect condition for your newly mobilized stem cells to thrive and do their repair work. So, we are talking about one single strategy that attacks the two most fundamental pillars of aging and disease: declining regeneration and dysfunctional metabolism. This is the core of my work, and over the next minutes, I will give you a detailed, evidence-based roadmap translating complex science into simple, actionable steps you can start today. You will learn exactly which foods to eat, how to prepare them for maximum benefit, and the specific lifestyle triggers that can amplify this effect, all without drastic calorie counting or unsustainable fad diets. This is about working with your body's innate intelligence, not fighting against it. So, if you're ready to tap into your body's own fountain of youth and turn your metabolism into a fat-burning furnace, make sure you watch this entire video, because the information I'm about to share is based on hundreds of peer-reviewed studies and has the power to completely transform your health from the cellular level up. And for those of you thinking this sounds too good to be true, I urge you to suspend that skepticism for just a little while and let the science speak for itself. Because what you are about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about your body's capacity for healing and renewal. Now, let's dive deep into the first and most crucial element of this entire process: the foods that directly trigger stem cell mobilization. We are not talking about vague categories like eat your vegetables. We are talking about specific, targeted foods with clinically proven compounds. The superstar in this category is a group of plant pigments called anthocyanins. These are the powerful flavonoids that give foods their deep red, purple, and blue hues, and their mechanism of action is nothing short of brilliant. Research from places like the University of Michigan has shown that anthocyanins can directly communicate with the lining of your bone marrow, the endosteum, and signal it to release stem cells into the circulation. Think of anthocyanins as the key that unlocks the barracks door. So, which foods are the most potent sources? The absolute champion here is the aronia berry, also known as the chokeberry. Gram for gram, it has one of the highest concentrations of anthocyanins ever measured. But don't worry if you can't find aronia berries. Other incredible sources include blackberries, blueberries, especially the wild ones which have a higher skin-to-pulp ratio, cherries, black raspberries, and even red cabbage and black rice. The goal is to consume a serving of these foods daily. A powerful way to do this is with a smoothie, blending a cup of mixed frozen berries, which preserves these delicate compounds. But berries are just the beginning. Another critical group is the class of foods rich in a compound called sulforaphane, which is found in cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli sprouts are the undisputed king here, containing up to 100 times more sulforaphane precursors than mature broccoli. Sulforaphane works by activating a genetic pathway in your body called NRF2, which is like the master switch for your body's antioxidant and detoxification systems. When you activate NRF2, you reduce systemic inflammation, creating a cleaner, more hospitable environment for your stem cells to function. So, adding a handful of broccoli sprouts to your salad or sandwich is a phenomenal strategy. Then we have omega-3 fatty acids, specifically those from fatty fish like wild-caught salmon, sardines, and anchovies. The EPA and DHA in these fish are incorporated into the membranes of your stem cells, making them more fluid, more flexible, and better able to respond to signals in the body. They also powerfully reduce inflammation. For a plant-based option, focus on flax seeds and walnuts. And finally, we cannot forget about green tea, specifically matcha green tea. The epigallocatechin gallate, or EGCG, in matcha has been shown to support the survival and function of stem cells. So, a daily ritual of a cup of matcha tea is not just a calming practice. It's a direct investment in your regenerative capacity. The beautiful part is that you can combine many of these in a single meal. Imagine a breakfast smoothie with mixed berries, a scoop of flaxseed, and even a small amount of matcha powder blended in. You are creating a powerful, synergistic signal to your body to begin the work of repair and renewal. Now that we've laid the foundation with the key stem, cell, activating foods, it's time to address the other side of the equation, burning fat. And I want to be very clear, we are not just talking about losing weight on a scale. We are talking about specifically targeting and eliminating the most dangerous type of fat in your body. Visceral adipose tissue. This is the fat that you can't pinch because it's deep within your abdomen, surrounding your liver, pancreas, and intestines. This fat is metabolically active, but not in a good way. It acts like a rogue endocrine organ, pumping out inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6, which directly contribute to insulin resistance, the precursor to type 2 diabetes, and they create a chronic, low-grade inflammatory state that damages your blood vessels and promotes cancer growth. So, how do we burn this specific fat? The answer lies in activating a different, but equally powerful, natural process in your body called brown adipose tissue, or BAT. Most of the fat in your body is white fat, which is designed for storage. It's like your body's savings account of energy. Brown fat, however, is fundamentally different. Its primary purpose is to burn calories to generate heat, a process called thermogenesis. Think of brown fat as your body's metabolic furnace. For a long time, we thought only babies had significant amounts of brown fat to keep them warm, but advanced imaging techniques like PET scans have shown that adults have depots of brown fat, primarily in the neck, collarbone, and along the spine. Here's the critical connection: individuals who have more active brown fat or a higher brown fat index are leaner, have better blood sugar control, and lower levels of dangerous blood lipids. So, the strategy is to convert some of your white fat into a more beige, or browned, fat, and to activate the brown fat you already have. And the most powerful, natural way to do this is through exposure to cold. When your body senses cold, it has to generate heat to maintain its core temperature. It does this in two main ways. One is by shivering, which is an involuntary muscle contraction that burns calories. But the more efficient, long-term way is by activating your brown fat. Your nervous system sends a signal to your brown fat deposits, telling them to start burning their stored fat and the white fat circulating in your bloodstream as fuel to create warmth. Studies have shown that regular exposure to mild cold, something as simple as taking a 60-second cold shower at the end of your regular shower, or spending time in an environment of around 60-65 degrees Fahrenheit, can significantly increase brown fat activity and volume over just a few weeks. This isn't about extreme suffering, it's about consistent, mild thermal stress that signals to your body to upgrade its heating system. And when your brown fat is active, it's not just burning fat during the cold exposure, it improves your overall metabolic rate 24/7. It makes your entire body more insulin sensitive, meaning your cells are better able to use the glucose in your bloodstream for energy instead of having it stored as more fat. This is a game changer, but cold is just one lever. Another powerful way to activate brown fat is through a specific type of exercise. While all exercise is beneficial, high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, has been shown to be particularly effective at stimulating the release of a hormone called irisin from your muscles. Irisin, often called the exercise hormone, has the remarkable ability to signal white fat cells to start behaving more like brown fat cells, a process called browning. So, a workout that involves short bursts of all-out effort, like 30 seconds of sprinting followed by 90 seconds of walking, repeated several times, can trigger this beneficial hormonal shift. Combine this with the cold exposure, and you are creating a powerful 1-2 punch against visceral fat. And remember the stem cells. This is where the synergy becomes breathtakingly clear. When you activate brown fat and burn white fat, you are reducing the overall inflammatory load in your body. You are shutting down the toxic chemical factory that is your visceral fat. This creates a cleaner, healthier bloodstream. And what travels in the bloodstream? Your newly mobilized stem cells. In an inflamed, toxic environment, these stem cells can get damaged, confused, or simply fail to find their target. But in the clean, metabolically efficient environment you've created through diet, cold, and exercise, these stem cells can travel unimpeded, homing in on areas that need repair with incredible precision. They can help repair the micro tears in your muscles after that HIIT workout. They can rejuvenate the lining of your blood vessels that were constricted during cold exposure. And they can even support the health of your brain and nerves. This is the beautiful, self-reinforcing cycle of health. The strategies that burn fat also create the ideal conditions for stem cells to work. And the work of the stem cells further improves your metabolic health, making it easier to burn fat. It's a positive feedback loop that pushes your biology toward a younger, more resilient state. So, your action plan from this section is to incorporate two things. First, find a way to get cold. Start with 30 seconds at the end of your shower and work your way up to a few minutes. Second, incorporate 1 or 2 HIIT sessions per week into your fitness routine. This doesn't have to be running, it can be on a stationary bike, or even bodyweight exercises like squat jumps or burpees. The combination of these two lifestyle interventions will powerfully accelerate your fat burning and create the perfect internal environment for regeneration. And if you're finding this information valuable, if you're starting to see how these pieces fit together into a comprehensive health strategy, then I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Why? Because this is just the beginning. We have 3 more major pillars to cover, including one shocking dietary secret that goes against everything you've been told about eating, and you will not want to miss it. Your engagement helps this channel reach more people who need this life-changing information. So thank you for being a part of this community. We've covered the power of specific foods and the fat-burning magic of cold and exercise, but now we must address the single greatest obstacle to stem cell function and healthy metabolism: chronic inflammation driven by a specific, hidden culprit in the modern diet. To understand how to regrow stem cells and burn fat effectively, you must first understand what is actively destroying them and making you store fat, and that culprit is the overconsumption of refined sugars and industrial seed oils. Let's start with sugar, specifically high fructose corn syrup and sucrose. When you consume these in excess, which is alarmingly easy to do given their presence in sodas, juices, breads, sauces, and nearly all processed foods, you trigger a biological cascade that is devastating for both stem cells and fat metabolism. The fructose component is primarily metabolized in the liver, and when the liver is overwhelmed, it converts this fructose directly into fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis, much of which gets stored as the dangerous visceral fat we discussed. But the damage goes much deeper. High blood sugar and the subsequent spikes in the hormone insulin create a state of advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are aptly named, as they literally age your body from the inside. AGEs are formed when sugar molecules bind haphazardly to proteins and fats, creating sticky, cross-linked structures that damage tissues. Crucially, AGEs are toxic to your stem cells. They damage the DNA within the stem cells, impair their ability to divide and multiply, and can even trigger programmed cell death, a process called apoptosis. So, every time you drink a soda or eat a sugary pastry, you are not just adding empty calories, you are actively poisoning your body's internal repair team. Furthermore, this high sugar environment creates massive inflammation, which further degrades the bone marrow niche where stem cells live, making it a hostile place for them to survive. Now, let's talk about the other villain: industrial seed oils. These are oils like soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, and safflower oil. They are ubiquitous in processed foods, restaurant fryers, and even in many healthy salad dressings. The problem with these oils is their extremely high concentration of omega-6 fatty acids, specifically linoleic acid. While our bodies need a small amount of omega-6, the modern diet provides an astronomical and dangerous imbalance compared to anti-inflammatory omega-3s. This high omega-6 load gets incorporated into your cell membranes, including the membranes of your stem cells and your fat cells, making them more prone to oxidation and inflammation. When these oxidized omega-6 fats break down in your body, they form highly inflammatory compounds that further damage stem cells and promote insulin resistance in your fat cells. So, what is the solution? It's a strategic shift away from these inflammatory drivers and towards a dietary pattern that is not only low in these toxins, but actively high in compounds that protect your stem cells and enhance fat burning. This brings me to the most powerful, and for some, the most shocking dietary strategy: the strategic use of intermittent fasting, or time-restricted eating. This is not a calorie restriction diet, it's an eating pattern that condenses your daily food intake into a specific window of time, such as an 8-hour window, and you fast for the remaining 16 hours. For example, you might eat your first meal at noon and your last meal by 8 p.m. Why is this so powerful? During the fasting period, several miraculous things happen. First, your insulin levels drop dramatically. This is the signal your body needs to stop storing fat and start burning it. Low insulin unlocks your fat stores, allowing them to be broken down into fatty acids and used for energy. Second, after about 12-14 hours of fasting, your body begins a cellular cleanup process called autophagy. Think of autophagy as your body's internal recycling program. It seeks out damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, and other cellular debris and breaks them down for fuel. This process is crucial for stem cell health because it cleans out the garbage from the stem cell environment, allowing for healthier function. But the most exciting effect for our discussion is what happens to your stem cells during a fast. Research from MIT has shown that prolonged fasting, even periods as short as 24 hours, can trigger a regenerative switch in your body. It does this by clearing out older, damaged, and less efficient immune cells, and when you refeed, it signals your bone marrow to produce a whole new army of fresh, young, highly potent stem cells. The fast essentially creates a state of mild stress that forces your body to purge the old and make way for the new. This is a profound form of metabolic and cellular rejuvenation. Combine this with the stem cell mobilizing foods we discussed earlier, and you have a powerhouse combination. The fast clears the slate and stimulates the production of new stem cells, and when you break your fast with a meal rich in anthocyanins, sulforaphane, and omega-3s, you are providing the perfect signal to mobilize these new, powerful cells into action. This synergy between fasting and specific foods is one of the most effective health strategies you can possibly implement. It requires no special equipment, no expensive supplements, just a shift in your timing and food choices. It's about working with your body's natural rhythms, giving it a break from the constant digestive workload and the inflammatory onslaught of the modern diet, and allowing its innate healing intelligence to take over. So, your action item from this section is to seriously consider adopting a time-restricted eating window. Start with a 12-hour fast and work your way up to 14 or 16 hours. Drink plenty of water, black coffee, or tea during your fast. When you break your fast, make your first meal a powerhouse of the stem cell activating foods we listed. This single practice, done consistently, will do more to reduce inflammation, burn fat, and rejuvenate your stem cells than almost any other intervention. We have now built a powerful framework focusing on food, lifestyle, and dietary patterns, but to truly master this process and achieve lasting results, we must descend to the microscopic level and talk about your gut, the health of your gut microbiome. The trillions of bacteria living in your intestines is arguably the most important regulator of both stem cell activity and fat metabolism. And it's a factor that most people completely overlook. Your gut bacteria are not passive inhabitants, they are active chemical factories, producing a vast array of metabolites that directly influence your physiology. When you have a healthy, diverse microbiome, these bacteria ferment the fiber from the plants you eat and produce short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs, the most important of which are butyrate, propionate, and acetate. These SCFAs are absolute superstars for health. Butyrate, for instance, is the primary fuel for the cells lining your colon, helping to maintain a strong gut barrier and prevent a condition known as leaky gut, where toxins and undigested food particles leak into the bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation that we now know is devastating for stem cells. But the connection goes even deeper. These SCFAs, particularly butyrate, have been shown to directly support the stem cells that reside in your gut lining itself, helping to maintain intestinal health and integrity. Furthermore, SCFAs travel through your bloodstream to your bone marrow, where they can create a healthier microenvironment for your hematopoietic stem cells, the ones that create your entire blood and immune system. A healthy gut microbiome, therefore, directly supports the very source of your stem cells. On the flip side, an unhealthy microbiome, dominated by inflammatory bacteria and deprived of beneficial fiber, fermenting bacteria, produces endotoxins like LPS, a lipopolysaccharide, which leak into the bloodstream, causing chronic inflammation that directly damages stem cells and promotes insulin resistance in your fat tissue. So, how do you cultivate a stem cell-supporting, fat-burning microbiome? The answer is through prebiotic fibers. These are specific types of fiber that you cannot digest, but your good gut bacteria can. They are the fertilizer for your microbial garden. The most powerful prebiotic fibers include resistant starch, inulin, and pectin. Resistant starch is found in cooked and cooled potatoes, cooked and cooled rice, green bananas, and legumes. Inulin is found in foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, and Jerusalem artichokes. Pectin is found in apples and the skins of citrus fruits. By making a conscious effort to include a wide variety of these prebiotic foods in your diet daily, you are directly feeding the bacteria that produce the SCFAs that protect your stem cells and improve your metabolic health. Think of a daily diet that includes a salad with onions, a side of cooled potato salad, an apple for a snack, and some asparagus with dinner. You are providing a feast for your beneficial microbes. This is far more effective than simply taking a probiotic supplement, which introduces new bacteria but doesn't necessarily ensure their survival. Feeding the good bacteria you already have is the most reliable strategy. Now, let's connect this to one more critical, often ignored factor: sleep. The quality and quantity of your sleep is a non-negotiable pillar for stem cell regeneration and fat burning. During deep, slow wave sleep, your brain may be resting, but your body is engaged in a frenzy of repair activity. This is the prime time for stem cell mobilization and tissue regeneration. Growth hormone, a key hormone for stem cell activation and fat metabolism, is predominantly released during deep sleep. When you are sleep deprived, you disrupt this entire cycle. Studies have shown that even a single night of poor sleep can increase markers of inflammation and impair insulin sensitivity the very next day. Chronic sleep deprivation leads to elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol, which is catabolic, meaning it breaks down tissue, and is particularly harmful to stem cells. High cortisol levels can drive stem cells toward becoming fat cells instead of bone or muscle cells, and it promotes the storage of visceral fat. Furthermore, lack of sleep dysregulates the hormones that control appetite, ghrelin and leptin, making you hungrier and more likely to crave those very sugary, processed foods that damage your stem cells. So all your hard work with diet and exercise can be completely undermined by consistently poor sleep. Prioritizing 7-9 hours of quality, uninterrupted sleep is not a luxury, it is a fundamental requirement for this entire system to work. Create a sleep sanctuary. Make your room completely dark and cool, avoid blue light from screens for at least an hour before bed, and establish a consistent sleep and wake time, even on weekends. This consistency signals to your body's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, to optimize all these regenerative processes, including the nightly maintenance of your stem cell population. When you combine optimal gut health with high-quality sleep, you create a powerful foundation that amplifies the effects of everything else we've discussed. You are not just adding healthy habits, you are removing the fundamental roadblocks that prevent your body from healing itself. We have journeyed through the science of specific foods, the power of cold and exercise, the strategy of intermittent fasting, and the foundational importance of your gut and sleep. Now, it's time to bring it all together into a single, cohesive, and actionable daily plan that you can start implementing tomorrow. This is not about perfection, it's about consistency and building a lifestyle that constantly signals to your body to regenerate and burn fat. Let's design your ideal day. It begins the night before with a 16-hour fasting window. You finish your last meal by 8 p.m. You sleep in a cool, dark room for 7-8 hours. Upon waking, you drink a large glass of water. You do not break your fast yet. Instead, you consider incorporating some form of mild movement, like a walk or some stretching. If you're feeling ambitious, this is a perfect time for that brief cold shower we discussed. 60 seconds at the end of your regular shower to activate your brown fat. Later in the morning, perhaps before your first meal, you could do your HIIT workout. Exercising in a fasted state can further enhance fat burning. Now, at noon, you break your fast. Your first meal is crucial. Make it a stem cell activating powerhouse. A perfect example is a large salad with mixed dark leafy greens, a handful of broccoli sprouts, a cup of mixed berries, half an avocado for healthy fats, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, and a serving of wild-caught salmon or sardines for omega-3s. Dress it with extra virgin olive oil and lemon juice, avoiding those inflammatory seed oils. This meal is dense with anthocyanins, sulforaphane, omega-3s, and prebiotic fiber. It will mobilize your stem cells without spiking your blood sugar, setting a positive metabolic tone for the rest of the day. For an afternoon snack, you could have a cup of matcha green tea and a small handful of walnuts. This provides a calm energy boost from the matcha's L-theanine and continues to supply supportive nutrients. For your dinner, which you will finish by 8 p.m. to maintain your fasting window, focus on a generous serving of non-starchy vegetables. A quality protein source like chicken, grass-fed beef or lentils, and a source of prebiotic fiber. This could be a stir-fry with garlic, onions, and a variety of colorful vegetables, or a soup made with leeks and asparagus. The goal is to nourish your gut bacteria for the night ahead. Throughout the day, stay well hydrated with water. This simple, structured day incorporates every single principle we've discussed. It provides the specific building blocks for stem cell mobilization. It creates the metabolic conditions for fat burning through fasting and exercise. It uses cold exposure as a catalyst. It feeds your gut microbiome with prebiotics, and it is all supported by a foundation of quality sleep. Repeat this pattern, with variations to keep it interesting, and you will be consistently guiding your biology toward a state of renewal. You are not just on a diet. You are engineering a cellular environment. Remember, your body wants to be healthy. It has an innate, powerful intelligence geared toward repair and balance. Our modern world simply throws up too many roadblocks. Your job is to remove those roadblocks: the sugar, the seed oils, the chronic stress, the sleep deprivation, and to provide the positive signals, the specific foods, the cold, the exercise, the fasting, that tell your body it is safe and supported to do what it does best: heal itself. This is the ultimate takeaway. You are the one in control. You have the power to influence your stem cells and your metabolism at the most fundamental level. It's shockingly simple, but it requires knowledge and consistent action. You now have the knowledge. The action is up to you. Start with one thing. Maybe it's adding berries to your breakfast tomorrow. Maybe it's taking a cold shower. Maybe it's deciding to stop drinking soda. Just start. Your stem cells are waiting for the signal. And if you found this deep dive valuable, if you believe that everyone deserves to know about their body's incredible capacity for healing, then I need you to take one more action. Please share this video. Share it with your family, your friends, anyone you care about. Post it on your social media. Let's build a movement of people who are taking back control of their health through the power of science. And of course, I want to hear from you. What was the most surprising thing you learned today? What is the first change you are going to make? Leave a comment down below. I read them all. Thank you for watching, for investing this time in your health, and for being a part of this community. Remember, the future of your health is being written in your bone marrow and your cells every single day. Make it a good story.